LewLoose's watercolors. People ask me where I find my inspiration behind my paintings. My reply is that most of the time it's right in front of you. Inspiration is your daily life activities. For example, this painting that I'm working on right now, I titled it Misty Climb. A group of us took my daughter's Girl Scout trip to Yosemite. We hiked up the Mist Trail, which is an 8-mile hike. We arrived at the top of the mountain and I saw the most spectacular sight. It was the waterfall in the background with the climbers and the hikers in the foreground. And the rock formations was creating this stairway up the trail was just incredible. Every step was like a lift on life. When I got to the top, I looked down the valley. If I could package this experience, it would come out as a painting. So I start with a drawing, and my next step is, this is my underpainting of the, and this is on a 24 by 36 aqua board. And so this is my underpainting of how I'm starting it. And then my next step is I'm going to do more of these are the light values. Then my next step is to do more of the darker values, which is right here on kind of the bottom of the steps. And I'm kind of doing more of a pointillism method to the base here. And so I'll do this technique throughout the whole painting using different colors. I'm using more of a purple and then blues here because this is my shadow for the bottom of the step here. I've been working on the steps and the mountains the last few nights. And so what I've been doing is actually layering all the dots on the steps. So this is taking me a few weeks just to do all this. And I let it dry, and then I do layer with different colors on top of the other ones. And I want the steps in the foreground here to be quite dark. And you can see it has layers of blue, purple, orange, yellow, and magenta. All different colors layered together. And then you see here on the mountain part where I want it to be more of a cooler feel to it. And now I'm adding blues. And then there's dark purple, light lavender, gold, yellow, light green, dark green, many facets of different colors. So now I'm painting with a more of a light blue in some of these areas here because I want the mountain to be a cooler color. And you see, you just sort of dab it with a color, and if you get too much water on it, like I did right there, you just sort of get a towel and take it off. And usually I do it flat, so that way it doesn't drip. So you can see it might take a while to do this part. So that's why I'm doing this painting in stages, so you can see how the progression of this painting will end up. And then I started with the water. This is a waterfall that actually, when you climb to the top of the Mist Trail, you see this waterfall. And I'm doing more of, since the waterfall comes at a downward angle, I'm doing strokes of dots that actually come down. And we're here where it has the trees, I'm doing more of a angle because that's how the trees, the leaves of the trees are working. And you can see I'm doing more at an angle with the way the dots are kind of growing. Just basically doing the strokes of how this tree will grow. been working on the sky the last few days. I had painted a rainbow over the waterfall area because that's what I had remembered seeing. It didn't turn out, so I tried to take the paint off, and it really doesn't come off that easily. It still stains. So it's been a struggle for me to paint the sky. But after a few days of letting it sit, I came back to it and I decided to create this misty sky with squiggles of paint. So you can see here I'm doing different layers of colors, and I'm creating this squiggly effect to kind of create a more of a misty background, because that's kind of what I saw when the waterfall comes down and it creates this mist. So that's kind of what I'm doing on this part right here. And then you can tell there's also layers of kind of a magenta, blue, greens. The yellow with the blue kind of makes a green color. So it's overlapping colors of squiggles. And I'm thinking that might be a little too dark, so then I can lift it up. Just get a paper towel and you sort of dab it if it's too dark. So you can see this effect I have of the background of the sky. So now I'm kind of finally happy with the way it turned out. Not all of my paintings turn out the way I had intended. So basically with struggles you can discover new ways of painting, and to me that's the beauty of painting. I'm toward the end of this painting. I'm using my intuition in terms of contrast for the darks and lights. I want certain areas to like pop out, like the figures right here, so I'm going to make them a little bit darker here on the edge. So I'll kind of do that with the figures on the edges here, so it'll just have more contrast. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the mountains. And I've added many layers of color on this mountain. Because sometimes you think you're done, but you're really not done. So I think I'm done now. That's what I said before, but you always find other areas to paint, and it seems like you can paint forever. So these painting steps depicts my journey, whether it's rocky, slippery, or uneven. You trip and you fall, and you get up and you just keep on going. But in the end, you reach the top of the mountain, and it was really worth the struggle. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to showing you my next video.